I feel like the focus is starting to shift off of me. Maybe in editing you'll fix it.
We want privacy! We want privacy! We want privacy!
Sir, your millions from Netflix for no one knows what.
Put it with the rest of them.
Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post for Del Taco.
I shouldn't have left the made-up nonsense.
Just when Meghan Markle thought the storm had passed, a new leak from deep inside the South Park writers' room may have sparked the fiercest backlash of her career. It started as a whisper, a low-profile Discord post from a junior storyboard artist, buried in a private animation forum. But what it described wasn't just satire. It was scorched earth. According to the leak, a recent table read for the upcoming South Park season left even the show's veteran team visibly shaken.
It is the cringiest, most uncomfortable piece of tape I've seen in a long time.
Matters is what we have on the inside.
The gross disrespect to the intimacy and privacy of marriage and childbirth. You know, there are some moments that are supposed to be between a husband and a wife.
Trey Parker, co-creator and longtime king of animated chaos, allegedly stood up mid-read, slapped his annotated script on the table, and declared, "We end on the truth, or we don't end at all." That single moment, insiders claim, flipped the tone of the room from laughter to legal panic. Within minutes, a studio legal rep was called in, holding a thick folder labeled Royal Contingencies. Executives reportedly debated whether the episode's final scene was too brutal to air. But Parker and co-creator Matt Stone held their ground, invoking their ironclad creative control clause. The message was clear: no edits, no mercy, no backing down. What came next turned the leak from gossip into wildfire. According to insiders, the episode doesn't tiptoe into controversy, it kicks the door down.
So said they're very wealthy. He's been handed everything he has on a platter. You know, they're literal royals. They're living in a multi-million-pound house in Southern California. I mean, really, what grievances do you have that most people can relate with?
America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our prince. You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
You can't sue a cartoon. It's satire. It is what it is. South Park has done episodes on the royal family, on the royal wedding of Kate and William, for instance. So it's not something that they would be able to sue about. And I genuinely just don't believe it, really.
In one scene, Meghan's animated doppelganger storms through a parody hospital set, clutching a hot pink megaphone and shrieking, "Tell the truth about my truth." The setting? A fake maternity ward teased in earlier leaks, now reimagined with fluorescent lighting and chaotic energy that cranks the satire to 11. Writers reportedly laced the scene with flashbacks, rapid cuts that lampoon her brand ventures, curated interviews, and whispered staff drama.
These two are not sincere people. They say that they want their privacy while going on every television show, writing books, doing 6 hours of Netflix. They're not very likable, and people are tired of them.
One brutal beat features Meghan proudly announcing she's exactly where I'm supposed to be, just before the camera pans to assistants sprinting for the exits, NDA papers flying behind them. Another shot freezes on a jam label reading Chefis Jam, while a sarcastic caption blares, authentically curated. Background extras chant authenticity like a cult mantra, their robotic voices glitching just as Meghan's animated smile stretches too wide and locks in place. The satire doesn't just mock, it glitches, breaks, and overloads itself, as if the character can't even hold up the mask under her own branding anymore. By the time Prince Harry's cartoon twin tries to intervene, only to get flattened by a runaway cart stacked with unsold jam jars, the audience isn't sure whether to laugh, gasp, or brace for royal fall.
Meghan ruined Harry. Now that the once carefree, fun-loving prince has turned into a miserable moaner, lashing out from the depths of his paranoia at a world he thinks is conspiring against him.
If you think about it, Meghan got everything she wanted. She got the husband, she got the children, she got the HRA, she got everything that allowed her to rise up and have that global recognition that we know how badly she wanted that.
By the third act, it's clear South Park isn't just poking fun. It's swinging for legacy. One moment in particular, now infamous among early viewers, may be the most savage line in the show's recent history. As the episode barrels toward its finale, Meghan's cartoon counterpart delivers her now signature rallying cry, "Tell the truth about my truth." But this time, it backfires. The boomerang punchline, reportedly saved for the final 3 seconds, hits like a grenade. Prince Harry's animated version shouts, "Spare me," just as a lightning crack rolls overhead. The screen freezes on Meghan's stunned cartoon face, and then cuts to black. Executives reportedly sat in stunned silence during the test screening. Some called it genius, others too far. Rumors suggest one legal rep actually tried to sneak in a stealth edit overnight, but the change was reversed within 6 hours. Meanwhile, the satire kept stacking. A fake Spotify logo flashes with the phrase "one season wonder." A musical sting mimics Rachel Zane's Suits theme, but with a mocking overlay. She pivoted again. Every beat hits harder than the last, layering mockery of her brand launches, scrapped projects, and the media frenzy surrounding her authenticity arc. The writing doesn't slow down. If anything, it builds like a legal time bomb. And Meghan's team, according to insiders, might already be bracing for the fallout.
Just when you think the episode has peaked, it pivots again into a full-blown Broadway parody. Meghan's animated self bursts into song, waving stacks of shredded NDAs like feathered fans as she belts out a show tune in a spotlight-drenched courtroom. The number, reportedly titled NDA Land, is packed with vicious one-liners. Behind her, backup dancers dressed as lawyers spin in glittery jam jar costumes, while the chorus repeats, "Hands on the pen, sign here again." The entire sequence is a pointed mockery of Meghan's Aspire interview, twisted into musical theater. Test viewers say it plays like narcissistic karaoke. And that's before the real gut punches land. In the background, a cardboard cutout of Emma Grade, her real-life interviewer, repeats "Great point, Duchess" on loop. A brutal jab at softball questions and curated answers. At the same time, viral gifs of Meghan's real facial expressions, including a now-famous eye roll, pop up mid-verse, mimicking TikTok reactions to her every move. One insider described it as meta on top of meta, while another called it performance art in a blender. The gag climaxes with glittery jam jars raining from the ceiling each time the character hits a high note, splattering on jurors, lawyers, even the judge. By the end of the number, the courtroom is chaos, coated in syrup and sarcasm. According to leaks, Trey Parker personally storyboarded the moment where the jam mascot yells, "Even your berries have NDAs." A line that nearly got cut until the team added a blinking on-screen disclaimer, "Parody, please don't sue." As the musical chaos fades, the scene shifts, and the tone suddenly darkens. Viewers are dropped into a quiet, eerie moment outside a cartoon palace. Stacked against its gates, dozens of glittery pink journals, each embossed with gold foil letters, spelling "Tell the Truth." But when Meghan's animated avatar opens one, what she finds isn't support or gratitude. Instead, the pages are filled with hourly logs, petty floral requests, and midnight meltdown memos. One sticky note reads, "Remember Father's Day post, no later than 3 p.m. Another details the now infamous 3 a.m. email demanding someone beige everything. And then the hologram appears. Serena Williams, or rather a digitized version of her, floats above the journals, quoting Meghan's own words, "A lie can't live forever." With a flick of her tennis racket, she smashes the stack of diaries into the sky like confetti, each page transforming mid-air into swirling NDA papers. The moment isn't just satire. It's a symbolic purge of control, secrecy, and spin. But the satire doesn't stop there. Insiders say the animation glitches for a split second, distorting Serena's voice into "NDA can't hide forever." The shift is so subtle, it almost gets missed, until legal teams reportedly flagged it at dawn, worrying it might cross a line. To make matters worse, animators allegedly hid a QR code on one of the journals. When test viewers scanned it, they were taken to a looping clip of Emma Grade smiling blankly, while a speech bubble repeats, "Great question." It's savage, and it's layered. But most importantly, it's getting harder to tell where the parody ends and the real world begins. From fairy tale to farce, the satire now turns corporate. In a scathing sequence titled Content and Commerce, Meghan's dream of brand building becomes a nightmare in neon. The scene opens with a fake Netflix splash screen, but instead of the familiar red N, it warps into a glowing green $sign. Then, out comes an animated version of Netflix exec Bella Bajaria, juggling leaking jam jars like hot potatoes, while chanting, "Someone else's urgency is not my urgency." A direct quote from Meghan's Aspire sit-down, now twisted into a brutal jab. Each jar tumbles to the floor, rebranding itself mid-fall with labels like Limited Run, Almost Evergreen, and finally, Past Best Buy. Every impact triggers a cash register ding as a scoreboard flashes on screen. Not right. The jar pot up, what? 4 pilot projects, 0 heritage brands. It's not just a joke, it's a public audit in animation.
And then comes Harry, or rather, cartoon Harry, pedaling a tandem bicycle, alone, the empty seat next to him labeled Chief Visionary. As he rides, he passes discarded cutouts of PR firms and failed ventures. Sunshine Sachs, Archwell Audio, VP of Consciousness. Each cutout collapses as he goes by, releasing a puff of NDA-shaped confetti. Observers who saw the test cut said the visual was oddly sad, even sympathetic, but just as the music swells, Harry crashes into a billboard advertising Royal Reality Tour 2.0. The sign? Meghan's grinning face, under the slogan, "No failure option." The billboard shatters, and behind it, a tiny animated corgi, unmistakably a nod to Queen Elizabeth, holds a sign that reads, "It's sharp, it's humiliating, and it pushes the satire into uncharted territory, no longer just parodying interviews and jam jars. South Park is now dismantling the entire concept of the Sussex brand."
By now, Meghan's animated alter ego isn't just a character. She's a collapsing brand, and South Park turns the heat up one final time. The scene, a bizarre hybrid courtroom meets tech keynote, part Buckingham Palace wood paneling, part Silicon Valley stage. A spotlight slams down on cartoon Meghan, gripping the same tell the truth megaphone from her Aspire interview. She raises it high, demands silence, and cues a holographic presentation titled Impact Metrics. But instead of charts and stats, a conveyor belt of shredded daybooks begins rolling past, each clutched by exhausted ex-staffers. Every time she waves, the belt speeds up, pages are destroyed, and NDA confetti rains from above. The message? Total control. But it backfires instantly, as she declares, "See? Nothing to hide." A massive counter behind her flashes, 100% transparency, minus 99%. Then comes the final gag, and it's brutal. A giant Monte Carlo-style slot machine crashes from the ceiling. Meghan yanks the lever, repeating her mantra, "My faith is greater than my fear." The reels spin. First, a crown, then a corgi. Finally, a Union Jack. An alarm blares, contract breach. A cartoon clerk stamps revoked across the screen in red, and the slot machine floor splits beneath her. Meghan's avatar plummets through a trapdoor labeled Heritage Brand Pending. Silence. Shock. Then laughter, at least in the test screening. But the final punch may not have come from the trapdoor. As insiders tell it, just before the screen fades, viewers were hit with one more twist. A QR code teasing bonus footage. Those who scanned it weren't taken to a website, just a spinning beige loading screen titled Still Manifesting. It lingered, it glitched, and the audience reportedly dead silent. This wasn't just parody anymore, it was demolition.
Just when you think it's over, South Park delivers one last blow. And this one may be the quietest but the sharpest of all. After Meghan's avatar disappears into the trapdoor, the screen cuts to static, then flickers back to life.
We're suddenly in a dimly lit Montecito kitchen, the exact backdrop of Meghan's viral baby mama dance video, only now animated and lifeless. Cartoon Harry stands alone, trying to frost a mountain of unsold jam jars while speaking into a podcast mic that censors every word with a flashing banner, content pending legal review. Then comes the real gut punch. From the shadows emerges an elderly corgi wearing a headset, unmistakably modeled after Queen Elizabeth's beloved pets. The corgi presses play on a dusty tape recorder, and Meghan's own voice repeats on loop, "Someone else's urgency is not my urgency." Each pass grows louder, more distorted, until NDA confetti begins filling the room like smoke. Netflix logos flutter like moths. Pages ripped from staff daybooks swirl in the air. The kitchen light dims. Then, without warning, the corgi presses a big red button labeled Fact Check. The entire set dissolves into TV static. A final title card appears. End of transmission. Truth not found. Test viewers, according to leaks, didn't clap, they didn't boo, they just sat there, frozen. One executive reportedly whispered, "This is the harshest fade-out we've ever shipped to standards." But it's not over. A rumored post-credit sting shows Harry podcasting in silence while the corgi trots across the frame with a scroll that reads, "Sequel in development." If that sting airs, or if Meghan's team succeeds in silencing it, is anyone's guess. But South Park has made one thing clear. This wasn't just parody. It was a royal reckoning.
Just when you think it's over, South Park delivers one last blow. And this one may be the quietest but the sharpest of all. After Meghan's avatar disappears into the trapdoor, the screen cuts to static, then flickers back to life. We're suddenly in a dimly lit Montecito kitchen, the exact backdrop of Meghan's viral baby mama dance video, only now animated and lifeless. Cartoon Harry stands alone, trying to frost a mountain of unsold jam jars while speaking into a podcast mic that censors every word with a flashing banner, content pending legal review. Then comes the real gut punch. From the shadows emerges an elderly corgi wearing a headset, unmistakably modeled after Queen Elizabeth's beloved pets. The corgi presses play on a dusty tape recorder, and Meghan's own voice repeats on loop, "Someone else's urgency is not my urgency." Each pass grows louder, more distorted, until NDA confetti begins filling the room like smoke. Netflix logos flutter like moths. Pages ripped from staff daybooks swirl in the air. The kitchen light dims. Then, without warning, the corgi presses a big red button labeled Fact Check. The entire set dissolves into TV static. A final title card appears. End of transmission. Truth not found. Test viewers, according to leaks, didn't clap, they didn't boo, they just sat there, frozen. One executive reportedly whispered, "This is the harshest fade-out we've ever shipped to standards." But it's not over. A rumored post-credit sting shows Harry podcasting in silence while the corgi trots across the frame with a scroll that reads, "Sequel in development." If that sting airs, or if Meghan's team succeeds in silencing it, is anyone's guess. But South Park has made one thing clear. This wasn't just parody. It was a royal reckoning.